and she's going to give us a talk on sensational design, analyzing feelings and memories to generate desired result. What an interesting topic, and the title itself evokes a lot of imaginations in mind, though I have no idea how I'm going to translate memories and feelings into design. Maybe you have better idea. So let's connect with Mariana, and she'll be talking about it. Just a brief introduction about her. Those of you who missed her last talk, she's based in Zurich, and as I said, having a Spanish passport. Her practice covers in many countries across the European continent, London, Zurich, Barcelona, as she just said, and she is an independent practitioner in interior design. She studied in London and later on moved to Switzerland, currently based in Zurich, the biggest city in Switzerland, and active in practice as well as communicating with students like you all across the world. If I'm not wrong, right, Mariona? Okay, so let us not waste any further time. Let's hear from
Okay.
Mariana, and I'm just going to tell you the structure of the webinar tonight. After I hand you over, you will start your presentation. It will probably go on for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and it will be then followed by a question answer interactive live question answer session, which I'm hoping our moderator here, architect Mohiuddin, and Ms. Jannatul Firdaus Neela. So that's
Sure.
from me. So Mariana, it's up to you now. You can start your presentation, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I just want to add a little bit in it. That's last time what I could remember, Mariana truly loved to hear from the students. So there
Yeah,
might be few questions straight from the students. So she would
yeah,
enjoy the interaction between them straight. That was a
yes,
request she placed earlier. So we will moderate, but there might be some individual that we will allow them to make questions to you.
yeah, definitely. And actually, I really prefer that I reply questions from the students and not. But yes, please, I really want to clarify everything. I would love if it's related to the topic that we will talk today. But if it's another topic, yeah, it's fine. Also, I'm more than happy if you send me an email after or a message. Then this is fine. Then as soon as I read it, I will reply and explain it to you. Because some of your students, they did it the last time, and I was really happy. Also, they even added me in Facebook and things like that. And I could not accept all of you because actually it's a lot of people and I cannot reach up to more than 5,000 friends, and I am nearly there. So today I would explain you how I personally implement this type of design that I consider that it's really important. I kindly ask to all of you to mute yourself because then I don't hear other sounds, and this can be a little bit disturbing for me, and I can still hear some people. So if you can mute yourself, I will be really happy. So today we speak about sensational interior design, and the way that we will do this analyze of your memories and all of that, it will be through an exercise. So from that you will experiment it, and then it will be way easier to understand what I do with my clients. So you will need to have pen and paper because you will have to write down some words that they will come to your brain. But yeah, I kindly ask you to get this pen and paper. Also to mute you, please, because I still can hear people. So what will we do today? I will do a super short introduction about me, about sensational design, We will start with the exercise, interact with colors. We will analyze patterns and materials, and we will review it with you with all the questions that you will have. You will see that this webinar is not the same as the one that we have done before, and I won't be talking that much and explain it. It's a webinar that you will have to analyze way more about you. So who I am? Most of you already know me. My name is Mariona. As Masoud said, I am from Barcelona. I studied interior design in London, and then I worked there, and I moved to have my small studio in Switzerland, which I am really happy about it because this allows me to make the designs that I wish and I consider that my clients they need. And yeah, I cover the needs, functions, and everything that they require. I still have boys and girls. Sorry for that. Thank you. So now, yes, questions about me. I mentioned it before. I am a regular interior designer in terms of person. My family is not a rich person. I am a regular person that just wanted to reach some goals in life, and slowly I am doing it. So saying that is, I am not more than no one, not less than no one, and everyone can reach what I have done with, well, no issue. I wouldn't say that because it's a lot of effort. This picture actually is here in my office, and I have a huge construction in front of me. So, sensational design. What is a sensational design? It's a method that I think it came to me. So I don't know if someone else does it in the way that I do, but thanks to that, I can reach a super successful project. Why? Because making connections between first the colors and then patterns and materials, you will be able to generate maybe not your perfect space as architects or as an interior designers, but yes, to your clients, because they will be totally reflected on them. So the exercise that we will start now is, I will place different colors in here. I think there are between 20 to 25 colors, and I will give 30 seconds to everyone. I will also do it. I will give you 30 seconds to write down, when you see that color, what do you think? You can write down a feeling, like I feel stressed, I feel loved, I feel happy, I feel blessed, I feel annoyed. So it can be a feeling, it can be a situation. For example, when I see blue, I think the sea. So I write the sea. And for me, this is a pleasant situation to look at the sea. So it can be a situation, place, feeling, desire, dream. Like, I don't know, maybe you see white and you say, oh, it's because I want to fly and cross the stratosphere and I don't know, and go to the moon. And there I will see a lot of white and all the clouds and everything. This is just an example. But yeah, these words, adjectives, nouns, that they will come into your mind, you have to write them down in this paper that you have in front of you. That's why I asked you all to have pen and paper. Okay, when we will finish that, we will comment a little bit. I will explain you my options, so you will see what I thought, and this is not good or bad, it's and that's why I could generate the perfect design for me and for my memories and positive things. It's really important when I visit a place or when nothing is built, and I know that I will have to design something there, then I work really close with the architect, and I know how it's everything more or less going, how she or he thinks that it's going to be distributed, and the layout, how it's going to be done. And then I start to think how can be better to improve it, or what I would like to do in there. For me, it's really important also. I really practice that. I use a lot of color pencils. Like, I think this is really important, even if at the moment it's really true that not a lot of interior designers or designers, they use it. I am a little bit old school on that. So I think it's important that you get your big A3 and you start to draw what it comes to your mind. So this is your creativity and this is you. So that's why you have this opportunity of designing bigger things. So after I make all this information research from my client, and then I develop this PDF of information that I think that I consider that it can work good, then I start to plan. And when I start to plan spaces, it's where I start to draw a little bit. I have to say that, as I mentioned, this is not common at the moment. So it's true that at certain points, I do it everything online or in my computer. But depending on how is the project and how I feel, then I always get my color pencils or watercolors, and you start to think and to improve the design. This is something really important to know, that obviously not all the time when we start one design, it has a process, and then what it ends up, it's never the same as you have done in the beginning. So it's a process that it will grow with you and with your clients or with the person that you are working with, because they have new ideas. Maybe they are better, maybe you change something, but sorry. But this is the important part of, so that you grow, that your brain opens up, that you explore as much as you can. There is an important fact that when at certain point of your life, maybe if you want to, you have your own studio, then you will have to work out a lot and optimize a lot your time. So this thing of I am 3 days thinking, sometimes it's not possible. You just have like, okay, I have one day to plan that, and let's go, everything up, creativity, I sleep well, I do my exercise, my meditation, and then I'm ready to start. So yeah, but this is something that will come in the future. So it's true that you will have all this process around, and as long as you get more and more experience, it will be more fluent and slightly easier, even if every single project is a new adventure for all of us, in my opinion. So I hope that I replied to your question.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Thank you.
Well,
I have
thanks for explaining in such a good manner. I guess, Niaz, you have some additional question?
yeah, I just have another question.
Yeah.
That about the material, that which material does you use the most in your project, or the materials that will inspire you to using your project?
Okay. At the moment, I have to be honest with you, and I am discovering a lot of new materials. Why? Because there are a lot of, for example, I am not a fan of plastic, but we start to have ecological and recycled plastic. So why not to have maybe some pieces of furniture made with plastic? Then in terms of flooring, we really use wooden floor here in Switzerland. It's super traditional and I like it. But it's true that then maybe at certain parts of the house, I use some tiles because it's way easier to clean, like toilet or bathroom. Yes, you can clean a wooden floor, but if it gets wet, then when it's natural wooden, then it's a little bit complicated to treat afterwards. So I would say that in terms of floor, I really like that. In terms of energetic, now we are doing a project that we will use geothermal energy. So basically, we will make a hole down inside the land. We had to analyze it. Obviously, if we had a big stone or something there that we could not make this huge hole underneath. So all the energy of this house, it will be so the heater and all of that. We won't have electric supplier. We will have it from the ground directly. So the earth, let's say, how can I say it? Like the heating of the earth, it will come from that. So then in terms of walls, what normally I really like wallpapers. I think they are really cool and they work really nice. It's true that normally I don't make a marble wall. This is really true. I prefer to use marbles in smaller scale, because even if it's a super elegant material, I consider that we really have to like slow down a little bit on that. So yes, I normally create a super regular walls that they can be painted or not, depending on the colors that they like and how they feel. But yeah, I would say that in terms of flooring, wood, some tiles, regular walls. We are working a lot now using different types of window frames, because in Switzerland you use sometimes wooden, the old ones they are wooden, then you have the PVC, that this is plastic, then aluminium. So we analyze what is better for each client and how the isolation can be the best one there. So as you see, really natural materials we use. Also the paints that we buy, they don't smell at all, because they are super eco-friendly, and to release the contamination we spend slightly more to be able to support a little bit more the environment. So yeah, I hope that it helps.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well,
You're
I
very
would like to
welcome.
point out one thing, that is, as you have mentioned earlier about the sensational design, that sounds very, very interesting to all of us. And one thing to understand, as you have shown us how to go with the combination, with the foreground, with the background, with the void space, then to things that we can appreciate. Because whatever we see and whatever we memorize, it might be in anything. It may not be in interior. It may be in even in food, on textile or graphics, wherever. Whatever the combination that attracts us, we could remember that, and we can actually apply that in our real design, especially
Yeah.
keeping in mind how it works within the context. So it was very interesting. I mean, how you were combining it. One thing we are, struggling, I would say, in our senses, that is the foreground and background stuff. In our place, there are lots of very good interior happening right now, but still,
Mhm.
we would find plenty of, say, for example, shopping malls, their display areas, where the background itself is focused more than the foreground, but the foreground is
Mhm.
the product itself that we want to highlight. But there are,
Mhm.
the contrast thing in many cases in the design, what I have personally seen, it's not actually within the grammar that we're following. So this is something
Mhm.
to focus on, because what is the major highlights we need to understand. We have to make sure that the background is quite good enough to make sure that the foreground glows,
Yeah.
especially what actually we want. We have to keep that in mind and design accordingly. So the way you have shown us here, I mean, keeping the product itself within to see the contrast, that was really interesting. It was highly interesting to us. Thank you. I guess
Thank
there are
you.
more questions waiting. Please carry on.
Actually, I have one question.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you was like previously you was like talking about related with the materials, right?
Mhm.
So it was like is it always materials we need to choose for clients, or is clients going to explain to us what they want for their interior? So is it depend on the environment, and then what type of materials is goes with that place? Is it something like that, or we can always prefer to our clients or whatever they demand?
Okay, here you have two topics to consider. Topic number one and
Yeah,
fact number one. It depends on how you design. Like you can be a designer
yeah,
that have a particular style. So
right,
then for clients, they will call you because they like your style. Then
right,
imagine that you in all your designs you use black, white, and gray. So they know that the design will be done black, white, and gray. Then
right,
in this case, you propose the
yeah,
materials, obviously.
right,
The other case is when you adapt yourself to your client. Then in there, you start this communication and you start to analyze what this person needs.
right,
Obviously, you always have to listen to your client or to the person that you are working for or
right,
with. And then if they say, look, we really like this material, so then obviously you try to use it if you like it. Of course, if you don't like it, then you maybe buy 2 frames of this material to make them happy and that's it. But
mm,
yeah, you really have to listen to them, and then you always decide what you consider that it's the correct way of doing it.
yeah,
And yeah,
or might
you
be this
propose.
design. Yeah, 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 sorry.
So in the beginning you ask and they tell you, and then you propose. So you have this communication. This is a key thing in all the projects, communication. Even if you have clients or if you work with for someone, you really have to communicate and express what you then here is where you start to have problems and you struggle with these type of designs. For example, maybe for you it's really clear that this floor has to be a white tile, but then the owner says, are you crazy? Are you going to clean that every day? I will have to do it, so I don't want white one. So this communication, you really have to. You have the two options. One, you generate your style and then you propose. Second option, you
Right.
listen to your client and you reply. I hope
Thank
it
you.
works. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I think we have some more questions
Yeah,
from my students as well. So
yeah,
they to like ask you, is it all right for you? Or
yeah, yeah, of course. Yes, definitely.
so there is one student. She's from inter architecture department as well. So Shirin, are you there?
Yes,
Shirin,
ma'am, I am. Hello,
yes.
ma'am.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. I'm actually following you from a very long time. Before you did the webinar, I was following you. I was actually connected with you in LinkedIn. So I was a bit surprised when you did the first webinar. And I was actually following your interior designs and everything in LinkedIn. So since we're talking about the colors, as students or as general interior designers, lots of time what happens when we are working with lots of colors, you see, sometimes like complementing colors, warm colors or cool colors,
Yeah,
it makes us frustrating that how to layer these colors, like the base, then the what should be in like we get puzzled with what should be in the primary base color and then the designs and everything. So is it substantial that we always use cool colors or light colors in base, or like this is kind of quaint traditions that we always go for cool or light colors in base, and then the dark. So I just want to know your perceptions in this layering on colors.
Okay, thank you for your question. It's really interesting, and also that we follow each other in
Yes.
But yeah, replying to your question. So as Masud said, he suggested to have, like, let's say plain at the back, and then we add. So you have to be really clear about two things. What are the things that you can change, and what are the things that you cannot change? So when you paint a wall in red color, it can be painted the day after in blue with no problem. So this is a small investment for your client to change in the future time. But when we are talking a bath tube, for example, this is a high amount that they pay. That's why normally all of them, they are white, or they have super small details there that they include. So then it means that it does not deserve to the other part of the design. So for me, how, in my opinion, you have to think about contrast. I will give you a super clear example. I have a client that he loves black color, okay? And he loves leather, he's a man, and he likes this type of style. This is fantastic, because what I have done is I cannot paint a wall black completely, because for me it's too aggressive, and I think that it closes too much the space, because the apartment that he has is not really tall. If it would be a bigger one, of course, yes, you can paint even a wall in black color and you put a big frame making contrast. So the key thing, Shireen, is the contrast that you generate and how big we want to make that. You really have to analyze for who you are working, because obviously if this is a traditional person, then look at the high amount of contrast that you make. But if it's someone that really trusts you and say, let's go for that, let's try. If we make a mistake, we can change it for not a lot of money. So let's try that and be super innovative. So replying to your question, I would say the contrast and how you are confident about this client and your project. Because for me, there are clients that I would say, oh no, they are quite complicated at certain points. So let's go for white walls, and then we start to add things that we can always change if we don't like it, and that's it. But then it can be a client that they are like, okay, yeah, I want energy here. Let's do something different. I had one client that I mentioned to you the last time in Frankfurt, and she was like, Mariona, when I want my friends to come, I want them to ask, who did that? This is stunning. So with that lady, we made huge contrast. We actually put it a wallpaper black with gold. Actually, I can even post after. If you want, send me a message and I will send you pictures, because it was super big contrast. And then another wall with black stripes. So we work a lot into the walls. And then we bought a really classical furniture mixed with, at the same time, really innovative sculptures, cushions. So we were playing with all of that. So what I am trying to say is, you can reply your question just analyzing your client and how you confident feel about this project and him or her. Because maybe you can think that this is going to be really nice, but maybe your client thinks, oh, this is too crazy for me. So to be safe, white walls, and then slowly you go implementing colors until, I don't know, well, rugs, they can be really expensive, but the cushions that you make them extremely crazy, and it also lamps. I really like to play with super strambotic lamps that this will support you a lot.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. It really answered my puzzleness and everything. And I'll definitely send you a message so that you can send me all those photos.
Yeah. Actually, I did not post this project because I could not send a photographer because of COVID. And we are rebuilding the website with really nice pictures, and that's why it's not posted in Instagram and nowhere. The only thing that you could maybe see it was in my stories when I was in Frankfurt.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's nice to meet you, ma'am.
Same, Sherin. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, more questions? Someone else's?
No more question?
Well,
I
I'm
had.
sure. I'm sure there are questions. They're just, I mean, realizing how they're going to ask or whether they are in the queue or not. Please, I guess Abdullah Masood, or brother Abdullah Masood, sir, would like to ask some questions.
I think we're approaching the end probably. I just wanted to ask one thing, and I think I already got sort of an idea about what would be the answer is because the way it started, I was thinking that you are actually analyzing your client first through an exercise of colors and other preferences about colors and evoking memories or anything reflecting
Yeah.
on color. Yeah. And then you actually implemented design. So you already actually answered that. I was just wondering how do you balance between your client's preference and when you evoke your memories, your sensations, that is, and transport that onto color and surface, that's your design. But eventually, the client wants his sensations or her sensation and her preference to be reflected on the design. But it may turn out that you don't like that design the way they are proposing or the other. So you have to balance between. So I think you have already answered that. It will be a very difficult for an aspiring interior designer to balance the two dimensions of the project. One is to how do you stand out as a designer, well, because at the end of the day, 2 years down the line or 1 year down the line, people will evaluate, "Okay, this is Mariona's design," and they would not say this is the client's preference or anything, right? This is very critical
So,
how you play.
yeah, to reply to your question, I think the key thing that you have to really keep on mind is that they are giving you the guidance of colors, but they are not giving you the guidance of style. They are not giving you the guidance of all the materials, of all of that. So at the end of the day, you play with some colors that, for me, it's not an issue to play with colors because I really like them and I think that we need them. So I will struggle with a client that he or she does not like colors at all, and then I will have to do a pure white work that then I would highly change materials everywhere to have contrast at least with the materials, like how it's the bed sheets, then I contrast with some cushions, then with the mattress. So on that, then I will have to struggle a little bit. I will be able to do it, I think. But yeah, it won't be the project that I super fancy. But to reply your question is, you have some material suggested and colors. But from that, you can work out a lot because at the end of the day, you are designing the layout. You are designing which style you have in every single room. You are deciding if you change the walls or not. You are deciding which type of materials you can suggest to that person, as I replied on the last question, because maybe they say, oh, I want, I don't know, some tiles on the floor, but then how many tiles we have? Thousands, like a lot of different ones. And this is what it makes this project yours, But at the same time, this project is inspired and designed for them. So
Right.
here is where you have this balance.
Sorry, I have one more questions on my mind, basically, because like several time like I faced like this sort of things actually from clients, which is like when you make some design for them, so
Yeah.
sometimes they got some specific requirements, so they
Yeah.
always ask, I need these on that wall, basically, specifically, yeah. So sometimes, sometimes it's happen is these sort of color schemes or these sort of materials is not goes with that, with my design, basically. So in that case, what we can like what we really need to do as a designer, how we can like suggest to them, or how we definitely we need to convince to my client related this situation. But
Yeah.
sometimes there have some few clients, they specifically asking for, I need these design or for my specific space, so in that case, do you have any like any
For
suggestion
me,
for, or anything?
what I do is
Yeah.
when they are imposing a style that it's
Right.
not your style,
Right.
then you have to say, I am not the correct interior designer for you, because at the end of the day, you will do something that you don't feel, and probably it won't succeed as it could be. When they are imposing a picture, a piece of furniture, or something like that,
Yeah.
what I do is a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
I highlight this item. So
Okay.
if it's a picture, then I highlight this picture, because then they are focused just on that, and all the rest I do myself, whatever I want, and I more or less play with my style
Yeah.
and my things.
Yeah.
But then they're happy because you kept that and you work around this item that they are imposing to have it.
Right.
So, or if it's, for example, that they say, look, we bought this bed 1 year ago, we don't want to change it because it's expensive.
Right.
Maybe you can paint it like color, you can play a little bit, thing like that. They have to be in the design, and I don't want to remove them. Then I highlighted them a little bit. So maybe you make a little bit of impact with the light. The location also is important. So yeah, this is how more or less I do it. But the first thing that I say, it is true. If you don't feel, I think that the best thing to do is say, look, I am not the correct person to support you, as long as you want to do this design. So it's what I would do.
All right. Yeah, sometimes we face a lot of these sort of things, like sometimes client always ask for, I want to like keep my this furniture, which is like, suppose this is like the traditional style or something like that,
Yeah.
but they ask for modern style, they wants to do their space with the modern, they want to follow the modern style.
But this is nice, because then is when you start to do mixing. I love this style.
Fusion, right?
Yeah, and you play, so you play a lot with the floor. The floor is super modern, and then you put this wooden old-fashioned thing on there, and maybe it even shines more. You put some light there, a nice lighting like sun lamp or something, and it will change the character of the piece of furniture, for sure.
Yeah, definitely it's change for like character, whatever like you just said. But the I want to like ask you, which is like, is it design, interior design is not related, not always like we can't say it looks better, so it looks good on that area, so this is called interior. This is not really interior, isn't it? So interior means is like you have to like manage all functions, and you have to follow the all you know, the formula and all things. Then you can say this is basically interior, and then this is goes with that purpose, or this is solved with that purpose, right?
Mm, I'm not sure if I understood you 100% the last part, but I would say that the fact
Yeah.
of introducing things that your client wants to keep, it's also interior design, because you are playing with them also. You are reorganizing them. Maybe they have it in the bedroom and you place it in the entrance, like to leave the key, and that's it. And you cover it with something, or I don't know. So if this is what you meant, then I would say that I also consider that this is part of our work. Reorganize, recycling, reproduce, like the 6 R's that we have.
Well,
Like,
I would like to
yes,
add a
of
bit
course, as
to
long.
that. Well,
Yes,
once you
please.
are done, because you know,
Yes.
there was a very tricky
Yes,
thing
sir.
that Mariona said. I love that statement. That is, you know, playing with their mind.
What?
Because a particular client, it's obvious that the dream that he or she is having for a long time, it is within their mind. So it has a sentimental value to them, what actually they would like to see their place to be. But how will we
Of
fit in
course.
with our design and their
Yeah.
choice? That you
Of
say that we
course.
concentrate, we make them
You have to
concentrate
play
on
with
some
that.
particular things that they like, then I go on with my design. So that's being very tricky. I love that way that you said, that you make them concentrate on the specific thing they would really love, then all other part you come up with your design ideas that you have,
Yeah.
because we have to balance it. End of the day, this is the space for them, and we cannot compromise with our design, because end of the day the design will be in my name, so my reputation matters. So making the balance, and the tricky thing you
Yeah.
said, that was very interesting to me. But you know, in many cases,
Right.
we just say that do this, do that, but the rationales behind, as long we can make the clients understand, well, these are the merits and demerits, and these are the rationale behind. In many cases, they do understand, because end of the day, they want something good. That's why they're commissioning us. So it's very important for us to know the rationales and make them understand in their own ways.
Mhm.
Well,
Right.
I guess there are some students who would like to make some questions, because we would be running out of our
Yeah, I
time.
always say that I wished that I had learned before this communication.
Wait, you guys can feel free if you are feeling like asking a
Right?
question, what's in your mind, you can ask it to her, because we are fortunate that she made some time out for us from her busy schedule. So we would love to take the advantage of knowing it from her.
Hello, sir.
Please carry on.
I have a question. Hello,
Yeah.
Mariona.
Hi.
My name is Heather. I'm the coordinator of the department. I have a silly question. I don't know how it's going to sound, but I can't stop myself for asking. Okay. My question is, I'm very clear about my preferences. I like black, white, maroon, but I don't like pink. Suppose I don't like
Yeah.
pink in your projects.
Well, okay, I understand. Yeah. How do I use them? Then I work a little bit with the complemented one, so at least I support it a little bit to make something better. But it's true that at the end of the day, maybe there is a pink that you don't like, because I don't like all the tones of pink, but there is one that why not? Okay, yeah. So, and this is the one that you use actually. like the one that you play with. Because if for your client think it's really important and you super dislike, I would suggest to you first to find this tone that maybe you like and you introduce it in some pieces, or that you say, look, I cannot make a project with pink.
Fine. I would love to thank Mariona. And in our previous session, we were very much excited and delighted to know that she would be coming to us physically, not virtual. So we would be really love to see her around. I'm not so
Okay,
sure when she could make
yeah.
it, but
Let
we'll
me
be welcoming her to visit us.
uh,
Please
let
carry
me
on.
just let me just wrap it up in the sense that let the so-called COVID-19 have the better part of us once we are all vaccinated and start seeing each other, then definitely she will be in Bangladesh. But before that, you need to come up with some spectacular project where she can contribute
Of
as
course,
an expert. Yeah.
of course, I
So
would be really, really
uh,
happy. Also, if anytime students or teachers, maybe I also have some questions sometimes.
thank you again. And it was a bit challenging given the fact that they are having ongoing exams now and
Yeah.
priorities. But I really thank you and appreciate the fact that you could make out time for us and also
You are
patience to respond to the questions. And of course, it was loving seeing you again. And we can only say goodbye until we see again next time.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a
All right.
lovely
Thank you
evening.
very
Thank you
much.
very much to you.
Bye.
Thank you, Mariona.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
ma'am.
Masud Bhai.
Bye.
Thanks to
Take
all others,
care.
those who have joined. Bye bye.
Thank you.